I'm milling about with writer-director Nora Kirkpatrick, and she's making her debut at the 2025 Tribeca Film Festival with a tree fell in the woods. God bless you.
I sneezed, but I'm muted, so we're good.
How you doing?
I'm doing so great. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Tell me the inspiration for this movie. How did that all sort of come up for you, and also to direct it?
Yes. Well, I mean, I had felt ready to direct a feature for a minute. I'd been doing a lot of TV and a lot of commercials. And I knew to make my first feature in this way, I needed to write something that's a bit contained. So that the budget wasn't so extensive. And I had been thinking for a long time about kind of the intricacies of long-term relationships and how much lives in this gray zone that is so layered and deeply complicated. And so I wanted to really do a four-hander where we got to explore those themes. And the one of the themes I was really thinking about is how much truth is in true love. And so I feel like we really get to dive into that in this one and give the actors enough space to really stand and deliver.
And you had quite the foursome, I must say.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about casting them. Did you do chemistry tests? How did that all work out?
We didn't do chemistry tests. I think we had Josh and Alex were kind of the first two in, and so then David and Ashley came shortly after. And I, some of them already knew each other a bit. But we just had this feeling that as a unit, this would really work. But of course, you never know till you get there. That we did a table read early on, and you could tell right from that very first moment that they were going to be great, and not only be great, but get along very well as human beings, which they
Did
very much did.
did they spend time together? Did they, live together really in
Yes.
that place?
Well, we were all living in Utah in a ski lodge together.
Cool.
So we had a screening room where we would watch sports. Now I can't even remember who's playing, but we would watch sports every weekend and we would, eat a lot together and we spent a lot of time together. And they had a great time. I mean, I feel like half the time I was trying to get them to stop laughing and start, here we have to begin, because we were having too much fun. But no, they were incredible both as actors and as people. They showed up every day ready to go, which made my job so much easier because we were very tight on time, as you often are when making an indie film. And they gave me everything I needed to be able to get the performances that we should have gotten, and we did get. Yeah.
How did you navigate the tree actually falling in the
Oh my
woods?
gosh. Oh my gosh. Bane of my existence. Um, this was complicated because there were all these rules about the size of tree that we were allowed to cut down. And there was only like one device that kind of looks like this thing that holds a telephone pole that could like do it, but then it could only hold the size of a telephone pole. And that tree trunk wasn't big enough to really sell the thought of it. So we did it and it was intricate. I mean, it was very a complicated day. I remember being like, I don't want to shoot this first, like move this, towards the end. And then we ended up, I would say, zhuzhing the tree a little bit with VFX afterward to make it a little bit more impending. But we did got to do some complicated intercuts to make it seem like they were there in terms of whip panning in certain directions. We also had stunt doubles there to kind of link the two together. And so I think it worked out, but it was definitely a shot that I was like, this is going to be hard with a not big enough tree.
You probably had like nightmares about it.
I did. I was dreading it only because there's some movies you would get like the biggest tree in existence, but just because of the limitations placed on us, I needed the tree to feel impending enough. But the tree fell. The story continues.
It worked.
Yeah.
Where in the woods were you exactly? What woods were those?
We were in Utah between Salt Lake City and Park City, up in the mountains. And we shot almost in summer, and shockingly, there was still snow. But by the end, we were driving up the mountain, putting it in the back of a pickup truck, and driving the snow back down the mountain to our set. Yeah.
I love it. Um, well, for all the seriousness of this, there's a lot of humor. I find that especially with Josh and his character, he like
Hmm.
you can't help but laugh at him,
Oh, for sure. And he's
you
such a
know.
natural comedian that but the thing I like about the tone that we landed on is they take it so seriously it becomes funny. Nobody's doing a pratfall. Nobody is saying here comes the one-liner. It comes out of the situations. And all the thing these actors are so amazing because all of them can do comedy and drama. All of them are so adept at both. And I feel like, I hope that they all got an opportunity to do that in this movie because they all have these incredible dramatic moments too. They're so beautiful. Um,
Yeah.
and so I was lucky to get actors who can do both.
Now you come from a musical background and talk
Mhm.
about having relationships in the music business. Forget about it. For the most part.
Yeah.
Was that sort of, part of your MO in a way that you were exploring that?
The music side?
Yeah, like having gone through the trials and tribulations of being, in that world.
Oh, sure. I mean, the, being in a band is much like making a movie. And I spent 7 years on the road in a bus with my beautiful bandmates who I love. But one thing you do kind of understand after doing that is personalities are so different and people need very different things to achieve the same goal. They need to hear things in different ways. They need different things to get themselves set up. And I feel like I really got an understanding of that from being in the band. And I think it really helps as a director because you can then honor however it is that somebody learns or somebody needs it to be explained to them. Because there are a lot of wild personality types on any of these endeavors and beautifully wild. And it's fun to figure out how everybody wants to communicate. So I think that for sure. And then one other piece of the music of this movie is the composer is actually was a bandmate of mine.
Oh
He
yeah.
in Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. And
What a great name, by the way.
right, I know. And his name is Mitchell Yoshida, and it was so nice to get to work with him again in this way because we have such a musical shorthand. So it was easy to explain what we're feeling and the references, and I feel like he wrote some beautiful pieces for the film.
Yeah, just really quick touching on your touring days. What was it like going out with guys, like all guys on the bus?
Well, there was one other woman,
One other
Jade,
woman.
and 8 guys, and
Yeah.
um, you know. They're great. I mean, we just kind of became like siblings at a certain point. So then I just felt like I got to hang out with my brothers every day, and we had so much fun. Like we all had little foldy bikes on the bus, and so whenever we got to a new city, we took out the bikes and unfolded them and would go on these kind of like Stranger Things adventures around the towns. And they were lovely. I mean, I still see so many of them all the time. It was a really exciting way to do your 20s, you know?
Oh yeah. Maybe there's a movie there.
Maybe. I've thought about it, but I would have to fictionalize it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you did that in Daisy Jones and the Six. You
Yes, exactly. That was a way to write about music, but have it be a different story. Yeah. It was a lovely time.
So have you sort of come through your own feelings about relationship after writing this?
Well, it's not autobiographical. But it is, what I hope is that people I feel hope and people who I know who have seen it and people I don't know. Everyone seems to have a kind of link to it in some way.
Yeah.
I experienced something like this, or my friend did, or I would be this person in this journey. What I'm excited about is that it's four different opinions on the same happening. And what I like about that is the intricacies of the gray zone because I think it's almost you can't just decide one thing is one way and one thing is good and this person's bad and it's black and white. I feel like that's so often not the case in relationships. And so that's kind of what I want people to come away from it with is is an understanding of four viewpoints on the same thing and perhaps why that happened. and where that leaves them. And that's I think what helped me in writing it is, and also really getting to the bottom of like, what is the point of a relationship? What is the point?
Yeah, and
What,
why do we stay
why
after
do we
we've been
stay?
cheated on?
Right. Or even let's take infidelity out of it. Why do
Yeah.
we stay in a relationship? What does it bring to us? Why do we want to be in them? What are the beautiful parts? What is the additive, meaningful, all of these things? What does it bring to your life and what can it take away? And like at what one point does that balance become unbalanced? And I don't want to give away the ending, but some people work it out and for some people maybe they don't. And that's all beautiful.
Are you going to be doing acting again? Because I know that you've also dabbled in acting.
I love acting. I still do it now on different things every now and again. It's not my main focus, as I really am focused on making films and TV shows at this point, but I still do it. I'm been doing some episodes of this show called Shrinking on Apple. That's a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful show. And I think I'll always do it. It'll always be a part of my life. I also find that in continuing to do it, it helps me be a better director. So I do love it.
And I'm sure Harrison Ford is not as curmudgeonly as everybody thinks he is.
I actually have not met him yet.
You're kidding.
We have not had scenes together, but I hear only the best things. So I've been writing a television show for Amazon called The Runarounds,
Oh, yeah.
which is about a young punk band. And that will come out in September. And we've been working on the next season. And so that's lovely. And then I have a feature that I hope to be shooting later this year. That's a rom-com that's very fun. So we're just getting that all worked out now. And then a few other things in the works, but those are the ones I think are most imminent.
Very nice. And what do you want audiences to come away with after they see A Tree Fell in the Woods?
I think coming away from this movie, I want people to focus or to view the honesty in relationships as something that should be taken seriously. Presenting the honest version of yourself and therefore your relationships will have a bit more truth to them. And I feel like that's hopefully what these characters get to by the end.
Wonderful. Here you go. Thank you.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.